Ever wondered how habits shape your life, your success, and even your happiness? It's a fascinating journey into the depths of human behavior, where habits are the invisible architects of our daily lives. Consider this: the actions we repeatedly do, often without conscious thought, make up the fabric of our existence. The cup of coffee you reach for each morning, the route you take to work, the time you spend scrolling through social media, these are all habits. They might seem insignificant on their own, but when woven together, they create the tapestry of our lives. Now imagine if we were to consciously tweak these habits, making small, seemingly insignificant changes. What if we replaced that morning coffee with a glass of water, chose a different route to work that allowed for a scenic walk, or swapped social media scrolling with reading a few pages of a good book? These minor adjustments might not create a monumental shift overnight, but their impact accumulates over time. This is the principle at the heart of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. Clear argues that it's not the grand, sweeping changes that shape our lives, but rather the small, consistent ones. He likens this process to the buildup of atoms, tiny particles that, when combined, can form powerful elements. Much like atoms, our habits might seem small and inconsequential on their own, but their collective impact can be transformative. The beauty of this approach is that it's manageable. It doesn't require a complete overhaul of your life or drastic changes that are hard to sustain. It simply calls for small, consistent steps in the right direction. Over time, these steps add up, leading to significant results that are often surprising in their magnitude. So, as we delve into the world of atomic habits, remember this: the power to shape our lives lies not in the grand gestures, but in the small daily actions we often overlook. Understanding the mechanics of habits is the first step towards mastering them. Habits are like atoms, the building blocks of our lives. Let's dive into the 4 laws of behavior change as outlined in the book Atomic Habits. These laws aren't just theoretical constructs, they are practical tools that can help us shape our behavior to our advantage. And remember, they can be applied to both creating new habits and breaking old ones that no longer serve us. First up is make it obvious. This law suggests that if we want to establish a habit, it needs to be clear and present in our daily lives. Think about setting up visual cues or reminders that trigger the desired behavior, like placing a book on your bedside table if you wish to read more, or keeping a water bottle at your desk to hydrate regularly. The second law, make it attractive, hinges on the idea that we're more likely to do things we find enjoyable or rewarding. So, make your habit something you look forward to. This could mean pairing a task you need to do with something you want to do, creating a positive association. Say, listening to your favorite podcast while doing the dishes. Next is make it easy. The simpler, the better. The less effort a habit requires, the more likely we are to stick with it. Start with baby steps. If you want to start running, begin by just lacing up your shoes and stepping outside. Small victories lead to big wins. Finally, make it satisfying. We humans are wired to repeat behaviors that give us immediate gratification. If a habit offers instant rewards, it's more likely to stick. This could be as simple as feeling the satisfaction of crossing off a task on your to-do list, or treating yourself to a favorite show after a workout. By understanding these laws, we can start to take control of our habits. And remember, like atoms, each habit might seem insignificant on its own, but combined, they form the molecules of our daily routines, shaping our lives and our futures. So keep going, one atomic habit at a time. Building new habits may seem daunting, but it doesn't have to be. Let's dive into the strategies outlined in the book Atomic Habits that can turn this perceived obstacle into a manageable task. The first strategy is to start small. You have a grand vision, and that's fantastic. But remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. You've got to start with one brick, one step. Let's say you want to start reading more. Instead of aiming to read a book a week, start by reading a page a day. It's manageable, it's doable, and before you know it, you'll be reading chapters in a day. The second strategy is to make it obvious. The more visible the habit, the more likely you are to do it. So if you want to drink more water, keep a water bottle on your desk. If you want to read more, keep a book on your bedside table. Make it so glaringly obvious that you'd have to actively ignore it. Now let's talk about the concept of habit stacking. This is essentially piggybacking a new habit onto an existing one. For example, if you're trying to incorporate meditation into your routine, and you already have a habit of drinking a cup of tea in the morning, stack the habits. Meditate while your tea is brewing. This way, the established habit acts as a trigger for the new one, making it easier to remember and follow through. The final strategy is to make it satisfying. We're more likely to repeat an action if it's enjoyable or rewarding. So find a way to make your new habit satisfying. Maybe it's treating yourself to a favorite snack after a workout, or enjoying the peaceful quiet during your morning meditation. The key is to associate positive feelings with your new habit. Remember, building new habits isn't about overnight transformations. It's about taking small, consistent steps towards your goals. It's about the power of incremental change. It's about the compound effect of tiny habits that, over time, lead to remarkable results. Building new habits is about taking small, consistent steps towards your goals. Breaking bad habits is just as important as building new ones. Now that's a statement that packs a punch. Why? Because it acknowledges that our lives aren't just about trying to do more good things, it's also about doing less of the not-so-good things. The secret to breaking bad habits lies in understanding their mechanics. So, what's the first step? Identification. We must first identify the cues that trigger our bad habits. These cues could be anything: a stressful situation, a particular time of day, a certain location, or even a specific person. The key here is awareness. We need to become detectives of our own behavior and pinpoint what triggers our undesirable habits. Once we've identified these triggers, the next step is to replace them. But here's the catch. We can't just get rid of a bad habit, we have to replace it with a good one. This approach is based on the idea that our brains are wired to repeat behaviors that provide us with some sort of reward. So, if we want to break a bad habit, we need to provide our brain with a positive alternative that offers a similar reward. For example, if you're trying to quit smoking, you could replace the habit of reaching for a cigarette with the habit of drinking a glass of water or going for a short walk. Both alternatives provide a reward, hydration and physical activity, without the harmful side effects of nicotine. But remember, it's not about making a massive change all at once. Just like building new habits, breaking bad ones is a gradual process. It's about making small, manageable changes that add up over time. And finally, remember this. Breaking bad habits isn't about willpower. It's not about gritting your teeth and hoping for the best. It's about understanding how habits work and using that knowledge to your advantage. It's about identifying cues, replacing bad habits with good ones, and doing so in a way that aligns with your broader goals and values. So, let's take the reins of our lives. Let's break those bad habits. Because breaking bad habits isn't about willpower, it's about understanding how habits work and using that knowledge to your advantage. Our environment plays a crucial role in shaping our habits. This statement might seem bold, but it's grounded in truth. The spaces we occupy and the objects we interact with can significantly influence our behavior, often more than we realize. Let's consider how our environment can make our habits more obvious. Imagine a person who wants to read more. If they place a book on their pillow, the chances of them reading before bed increases dramatically. The book being in plain sight triggers the reading habit. Next, we see how an environment can make habits more attractive. A gym goer might find their workout more appealing if their gym is filled with like-minded, motivated people. The social environment becomes an incentive, making the habit of exercising more attractive. Now let's talk about how an environment can make habits easier. Think about a person trying to eat healthier. If they keep a bowl of fresh fruits on the kitchen counter instead of hidden away in the refrigerator, they're likely to reach for an apple rather than a less healthy snack. The convenience of the fruit, influenced by its placement, makes the healthy eating habit easier to maintain. Lastly, an environment can make habits more satisfying. Picture a study group where everyone shares their progress and celebrates each other's success. This kind of supportive environment makes the habit of studying more rewarding, thus more satisfying. The power of environment doesn't stop there. We can consciously design our surroundings to support our desired habits. Want to drink more water? Keep a water bottle on your desk. Trying to limit screen time? Keep your phone in another room while you're working. These small tweaks in our environment can create a big impact on our habits. In essence, when our environment aligns with our goals, it becomes a powerful ally. It's not just about willpower or self-discipline, it's about creating an external world that makes our desired habits the easiest and most rewarding choice. By shaping our environment, we can make our desired habits the path of least resistance. So take a moment to reflect. How can you alter your environment to better support your habits? It's a question worth considering. What gets measured gets managed. In our journey through the world of habits and their formation, we've arrived at a pivotal concept known as habit tracking. This is not merely a tool for record keeping, rather it's a catalyst for change. When we track our habits, we make them more apparent and satisfying, providing immediate feedback on our progress. Now, you may be wondering, how does tracking make our habits more obvious? Well, it's simple. Tracking brings our habits into the spotlight. It compels us to acknowledge our actions, making it impossible to ignore what we're doing, whether that's mindlessly scrolling through social media or reaching for that fourth cup of coffee for the day. And then there's the satisfaction element. You see, every time we track a habit, we get a small sense of accomplishment. We're not just marking off a box on a checklist, we're physically seeing our progress, our commitment. This, in turn, motivates us to continue. It's like a pat on the back, a small reward for our efforts. But perhaps the most compelling argument for habit tracking is the immediate feedback it provides. It's like having a mirror that reflects our behavior, showing us where we're succeeding and where we're falling short. This feedback is invaluable. It helps us adjust our actions, course correct if needed, and keep our habits aligned with our goals. By tracking our habits, we're not just going through the motions. We're taking an active role in shaping our behavior, in steering the course of our lives. It's a simple yet powerful tool that can transform the abstract concept of habit formation into a tangible, manageable process. In essence, habit tracking is about visibility. It's about making our habits attractive and satisfying to us. It's about turning the invisible into the visible, the abstract into the concrete. Habit tracking is a powerful tool for making our habits visible, attractive, and satisfying. Small changes can make a big difference over time. This isn't just a catchy phrase or an abstract concept. It's a fundamental principle that underpins the power of atomic habits. Let's delve deeper and understand how this works. Imagine you're steering a ship. If you change the direction by just a tiny degree, you might not notice any significant change in the short term. But over a long journey, that small shift can lead you to a completely different destination. This is the essence of the compound effect. Just like the ship, our lives are shaped by the habits we cultivate. Each habit, no matter how small, is like a step in a particular direction. And over time, these steps can take us far away from where we started. Take, for instance, the habit of reading. If you read just 10 pages of a book every day, it might not seem like much. But over a year, that amounts to over 3,600 pages. That's approximately 10 to 12 substantial books. This is how the compound effect works. It's not about making massive changes all at once, but about making small, consistent changes that accumulate over time. Now, this isn't to say that big changes are unimportant. They certainly can be transformative. But more often than not, it's the small, daily habits that pave the way to long-term success. They might seem insignificant in isolation, but when compounded over time, they can lead to profound changes in our lives. So if you're looking to bring about a positive change in your life, don't disregard the power of atomic habits. Start small, stay consistent, and let the compound effect do its magic. After all, it's these tiny habits that, when compounded, shape our identities and define the trajectory of our lives. Remember, success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. So make each day count, one small habit at a time. Time to take control of your habits. You've heard about the power of habits, the fundamentals of atomic habits, how to build and break them, the role environment plays, and the compound effect of atomic habits. Now it's your turn to put these strategies into practice. Start small, make it easy, and watch your life transform one habit at a time. Remember, it's not about one massive change, but a series of small, consistent ones that lead to a significant impact. What habits are you looking to build or break? How do you plan to implement the strategies we've discussed? We would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Your journey could inspire others to embark on their own path of habit formation. Change your habits, change your life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Let's keep learning, growing, and evolving one atomic habit at a time.